Once upon a midday dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over a many a thought of what the superintendent had in store, while I hummed and sometimes singing, suddenly I heard a dinging, as of someone promptly ringing on the doorbell by the door. Must be Chalmers, I muttered, ringing there beside the door, merely this and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bright September, and each separate school board member had appeared there at my door. The superintendent was invited, to my home I was excited, that something I had done was cited in the mind he firmly wore, in that high important mind in which my future was in store. I wanted a raise and nothing more. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of my mother's curtain thrilled me, filled me with determination never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis Mr. Chalmers waiting at my door. Superintendent Chalmers waiting out there at the door. This he is and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. I rose up from my seat and took a grip upon my door. Then I waited while reflecting how good I was at directing my guest. Would he be expecting me to give a little more? I waited then no longer. Here I opened wide the door. Quoth my house guest, "Well, Seymour?" I made it, despite your directions. I shuddered, thinking of corrections that I could have made to make this meeting less a chore. "Welcome, Chalmers, I've prepared a luncheon that's beyond compare." This was met with but a glare from the house guest it was for. Chalmers took a seat there at my table on the floor. This was my chance, I'd scarce get more. Then into my kitchen turning, I beheld it, my roast burning, burning in a prison that had charred it to the core. "Oh, ye gods, my roast is ruined!" I felt my future split in two and rush into the fire that had ruined it before. Still, my guest remained as silent as a field after a war. Could I somehow make my score? When after I recovered from my shock, I soon then wondered, what if, like the thunder that comes swiftly in a storm, I purchased fast food and disguise it? If I'm devilishly wise, it possibly could size up as the food I've made before. I opened up my window to step into the outdoors, opened flung my kitchen door. Mr. Chalmers, then beguiling my sheer terror into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance he wore. "Superintendent, hello there, I'm exercising, do you care to join me?" This I said as I did sweat from every pore. But Chalmers made an effort to my feeble pleas ignore. "Why is there smoke in your oven, Seymour?" Much I marveled the suspicion that had seemed to be his mission. Thus I spoke, and from my mouth a spring of lies did then outpour. "That isn't smoke," I said, "it's steam, from the steamed clams it would seem." And it seemed almost a dream when he asked of me no more. He regarded me with scrutiny and departed through the door. I was lucky, nothing more. The superintendent, sitting lonely in my kitchen, witnessed only the fruits which I had plucked from Krusty Burger there next door. When I fled my kitchen cluttered, and homeward bound I fluttered, then I scarcely more than muttered as I opened up my door, "Hope you're prepared for burgers unlike all you've had before." Then my house guest said, "Seymour, I presumed that we were eating steamed clams on this fateful meeting." "No," I said while seating, "you misheard me there before. It was steamed hams I was saying while you kindly were surveying. And since you're also staying, I wish I'd said it before. That's what I call hamburgers. It is this and nothing more." Thus I spun my lying lore. While my tale I was weaving, my house guest frowned, disbelieving. "You call hamburgers steamed hams? This was the cause he did implore?" "Yes, it's a phrase that's from my region, another lie to join my legion." So what's the region that the phrase must answer for?" A grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt expression my guest wore. Quoth myself, "Upstate New York." This and more I did regret, but it wasn't finished yet. "Well, I'm from Utica, and I have never heard that phrase before." "Not from Utica," I said, "it's from Albany instead." I thought myself near dead when Mr. Chalmers said no more. I watched him bite into the bread that cloaked a meaty core. I felt my heart drop to the floor. These burgers quite resemble crusty burgers. With a tremble I said, no, they're Skinner burgers, passed on down from days of yore. Yes, I cried, how luck had lent him passage to cloak what I meant. He barely took his time to then proceed with his outpour. You mean steamed hams, he said, speaking my own words once more. Yes, I said, and nothing more. Yes, said he, you call them steamed, despite the fact it clearly seemed that these are obviously grilled and cooked through to the core. The words from his mouth teased and taunted, his superior wit he flaunted, and in this home by horror haunted I began then to implore. Excuse me for a moment, I cried, wanted nothing more. I fled through my kitchen door. As I left Chalmers in a haze, I turned and beheld ablaze, a towering inferno in the kitchen I adore. How my soul with sorrow laden looked upon the roast that laid inside the blaze that I had made, when I my common sense ignored. I felt my body fade into the dining room once more. That was wonderful, I said, but of talk I am quite sore. But just as we were departing, good Lord, Chalmers shrieked upstarting, what is happening in there just beyond your kitchen door? Aurora Borealis here, Aurora at this time of year, Aurora in this country just beyond your kitchen door? Yes, I said, then Chalmers asked, may I see it, Seymour? Quoth I to him, nevermore. Then we left, the fire roaring, my mother's raspy yells ignoring. You're an odd fellow, said Chalmers, but I must admit, Seymour, your hams had all the steaming of an angel's fervent dreaming. With the firelight over him streaming, Chalmers left forevermore. Help, my mother cried from somewhere on the second floor, and help would come nevermore.